as you're dating for kingdom, always pay attention to who you're dating and where they're leading you to, and the type of influence that they have on you. As it pertains to men and women, women are called to be submissive to their husbands, right? So while you're dating, you want to look at the characters of this man and if he is truly being led by Christ. These things are important because as you go into a space of marriage, your husband is going to have an influence on you, and you have to be able to stand 10 toes down on what God is telling you. There are so many different examples in the Bible where we have seen where the wives have had to intercede on their husband's behalf, not in a disrespectful manner, not in a disobedient manner, but in a manner to where they just had to do or intervene in certain areas. You had Moses and his wife. Because Moses didn't circumcise his son, God was about to kill him until his wife circumcised their son. You have Nabal and Abigail. David was about to kill Nabal because of his pride, but Abigail stepped up and said, what she needed to say to David, so much so that her husband had a heart attack and she ended up marrying David. So we've seen where that Proverbs 31 woman showed up and how she showed up. But then we also see examples in the Bible where the husband has led the wife to death, where in Acts 5, 1 through 11, you see Ananias and his wife Sapphira. Israel was called to sell all of their possessions and give a portion of it to the priests. But what Ananias did, he hid a lot of the money that they collected, and he didn't even sell everything. His wife, under that influence, was completely aware of what was going on. And so Ananias goes before Peter first. Peter and all of the other apostles, he goes before them first. They ask him, is this everything? He's like, yeah. And they say, why did Satan fill you to lie against the Holy Spirit? And they killed him. The Bible tells us 3 hours passed. His wife wasn't with him at the time, but 3 hours passed, and then they called her in. She does not know that her husband is dead. But because of who she was being led by and the influence he had on her, they asked her, did they sell everything? Everything that they got presented, is this everything? And she was like, yeah. And she died. So it is very important. It is very important that you take heed to who you're trying to go in covenant with, that you take heed to who you're in a relationship with, and that you take heed to your own relationships. God tells us that he will bless the household if the woman is comporting herself right. If you are with somebody, or if you've already married somebody that you are not equally yoked with, or this person is a non-believer, God says that he will show favor because the wife is a believer. If there's a man that is married to a woman who's not a believer, based on his belief, God will bless that household. It's not for you to go and try to convince somebody. There's nowhere in the Bible where God pushed himself on anybody. It was either you follow me, you love me, or you don't. You go and you tell of the good deeds. You don't push yourself on nobody. You don't push the belief on anybody. But you can push yourself accordingly. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 31, if you read the whole thing, that because of how the wife is, your Proverbs 31 woman, how she is, the husband will see the love of God in her. and he will comport himself accordingly. So I'm saying all this to say, who you go into partnership with or who you date, look at their fruits, look at their characters. Those things are important to help you decide whether or not this is somebody that you should be with, because that person is going to be an influence, and that is going to be a make or break of life or death for you. God bless.